Hi, my name is Alessandro Gangelosi and that's a video tutorial coming from cgcookie.com for Max Cookie. Today we'll continue to work at the architectural scene we were working before, and we'll start to model more stuff for the wall and finalize the thing we have actually. So the first thing we were doing is to work on this part, and we'll add more stuff over the ground and more stuff all around the room. So first thing, let's start creating some kind of additional table over the ground. So let's zoom there. Our room is really big, you know, and let's go in the camera to see if we can see more space and more stuff of our camera to see it better. Okay, so maybe something like that to have more space and more things. So we can create something in the middle there. So we'll have something on the ground, and to do something like that we can have, let's do it with a box. Maybe something really big but not so much high, so it will stay in the middle. Let's imagine in a place like that. Okay, and it will be a little bit higher, and let's say that this one is the carpet. Okay, so this one is a shader. Let's clean up just to have more space there. Let's say carpet, and we'll use a V-Ray material. And let's assign. Okay, so I like to do something with this one, and let's see, first of all, to have a nice material. So let's go to have a bitmap, and we go inside the 3ds Max maps, and let's see in the maps there if we have something that can be nice to be used. So nothing so much interesting for the moment. Because I like to find something that can be nice to have on the ground. Let's see there, because I saw something that maybe can be interesting. So let's see if this one is used at 90 degrees. Okay, with no blurring, and then we'll have a little bit of Fresnel reflection, just a little bit, with maybe a glossy, and we'll have a little bit of anisotropy, so 0.3, and let's go to render a test, but I like to remove all the slow stuff, so we go for something really fast, and there we go for a lower amount, so 32.1, and there 32 megabytes, the gigabytes. Let's start to render. Okay, stop, and render just this area. Okay, we have this thing over the ground. Let's start playing with the displacement. So let's go to have more segments. Okay, and then we have the V-Ray displacement modifier. and let's start playing with a 2D mapping, and let's use something, and we can go in the maps there and put a displaced map there. We can use, let's see if we have something similar to a carpet. Let's see. Maybe something like that can be interesting. So let's see this map. Obviously it is too big, and let's go to use the tiling. So 5 and 5, maybe 10 over this axis, and let's go for 0, 2 for the blurring. But obviously we don't use the displacement there, we use just the texture put there as an instance. Let's remove the filtering for the moment and save. And now we try to see if in this way we can have a nice result. Let's go for the 3D mapping, so we try actually the right way. Let's say that we have 32 max subdivision. Let's go with a higher amount of value, but first of all I like to search. Okay, the displacement is set to on. So let's say 5 centimeters, and we use this map. And let's say that we use maybe 64 and 2 pixels for the edges. So that's the actual result. You see that we have something. We have to say first of all that we use the keep continuity, so we have no problem over the border. And let's try to say that we have 3 for the amount, and we can render again, and it should be working fine, but just a test to be sure. Okay, you see that it's really nice. Now I'd like to add a little bit of displacement done also using a noise map. So let's do something like that. So let's go there and let's use a composite, keep all map as submap, and then there we use, let's go for a noise, and we go for let's say something like that with the fresh the fractal one. So you see, I'm just trying to have a little bit of stuff all around, and let's say that this one is an addition to the other one. Let's say maybe 25% or 35%. And let's make a test again, because we have to be sure that the scaling is right. We see something there. You see, I like to have a bigger scale, but to do something like that we can use the normal. We use 100%, and we go for, let's say, 100%, and let's see the result. So we are sure about the scaling. Okay, you see that we have some distortion, so we can say to have a little bit more, so 4 centimeters. So let's check again the render. Okay, it is a little bit more visible, so we can stay with 5, and we go for addition, and we have a right addition there. So let's try to see if it works fine. Okay, so we can have a lower value for this one, so we'll have less bumping displacement for this pass and more for the other one. Last test. And that's done. Okay, let's say that we stay with this value and we can move forward. We have the carpet. Now I like to add a table. So to add a table, we have just to create for the moment a box, just to have the proportion. Okay, so actually that's, let's say 2 meters by 1 meters. So it's really big, and let's say 50 centimeters, and we can have it there. And let's move to the center of this one. Nice. So we have to model the table starting from this mesh. So we can do something really simple, and I mean we can close there. We have just a box, and we can, for example, convert to editable poly. Now we get to have all the passes there, all the edges, sorry, can have the chamfer, and we go to have 0.25 for the chamfer with 2 steps and say yes. Okay, then I like to have another box, let's say similar to this one. So we say that this one is more little, it's this one, and let's zoom. So it will be something like that and something like that. Okay, so this one will go to have, and it will be also higher, so we'll have a little right, and let's make another copy, and this one will be lower but bigger. I'm just using a really simple way to do the things I need, and then clone as a copy. And this one is more little. We can use something like that. Okay, so let's go at full screen, and we pick the first one, and let's go for compound, pro boolean. We have set the subtraction, and the first one, let's go in perspective, and start picking also this one and also this one. Okay, nice. So you have, in a really fast way, this part of the table, and everything is really fast. Okay, nice. So convert to editable. Sorry. Okay. Now I like to pick an isolation. Let's convert to editable poly, and over these edges I like to do a little bit of chamfer, because we have no chamfer there, and we have no chamfer also on the other subtracted edges. So let's try to select all the edges needed. And let's check also this one. And also there, using the shift key obviously. So I like to be sure to have everything there and there too. The other outer are right, so we have not to select the outer stuff. But this one, for example, must be selected. Okay. And there we can use the chamfer again with 0.25 as before, and we can have 2 segments and say yes and close. Okay, back to the camera. Nice. Okay, back to the perspective, and we can start adding more stuff. And I mean, the first thing we can have is a plane, but before I like to use an ID material. So we have all the faces set to 1. Okay, and then I like to have just there set to 2. Okay, nice. Back there, let's say table center, just to know that this one is at the center. And we have a multi-sub objects, keep all map, set the number 2. Okay, the number 1 is this one, and that's good. And that's a V-Ray material. And we have a wood material. Obviously I will use some maps there from 3ds Max. If you have a better wood material, please use it. So let's see if we have something that can be interesting, like this one. Let's rotate by 90 degrees and no blurring. Freshening reflection. Sorry, let's go for maximum reflectivity and let's copy the same map there as a copy. Then we go inside this wood and we use the color correction, keep all map, and we remove the saturation, and we can have brighter reflectivity. Okay. Then we need the glossiness. Let's make a copy. Sorry. Let's go for a little bit more glossiness. Something like that can be nice, but we have obviously to check it. And then we need the bump, and something like this one can be useful to have it there. Let's say 5, so not so much bumping. And the blurring can be 0.3. Okay, then the material number 2 is a V-Ray material, and that's a chrome material, black, freshening reflection with maximum reflectivity, and let's say that the IRR is maybe 16. And we have a really high glossiness with a little bit of anisotropy. Okay, back there. So now I'd like to have a glass over it, and let's say that this one is an extended primitive chamfer box. Okay. And this one is 2 meters. Let's say 1 meters, 2 centimeters, maybe 1, and the fillet is 0.25, maybe less because it is a glass, so 0.15. The 8 is 1 centimeter. We put this one in the middle. Okay, then we move it over it, to a place like this one. I like to see really near. Okay, so let's zoom there. We can put a chamfer cylinder just to have something that stay down this part to stay under the glass. Okay, so we'll have something there. The radius is nice, the 8 is too much, and the fillet can be just a little bit, let's say 24 sides and more for the fillet. And there we can have a white gum. We use a V-Ray material, let's say something like that, with a little bit of yellow over it. Freshen reflection just a little bit, and let's go for something like that. Nice. Okay, we make a copy on the other side as an instance. Let's go there to zoom. And select both. As instance. Then we can zoom this one. And let's see, sorry, that we are moving over the right axis. Okay, let's go to the physical camera. Then let's pick the glass, and let's say table glass. It is a V-Ray material. Let's go for a black color. We have the freshen reflection with 1.4 for the IRR. And let's say that we have an EV reflection, but we have the IRR set to 101 for the refraction, and we have a really heavy refraction. So back in the render, let's select this bigger area there and render. Okay, let's remove just for a moment the displacement just to be faster. And let's say to the refraction to affect the shadows. And let's use a little bit of, let's say something like that, of fog multiplier. Let's see again how it looks. It is obviously too much, so let's go for 0.3 and let's render just this area. So you see it's just a little bit. Okay, so the other things I like to do is to add more detail to the table. So we have to add more stuff, and I like also to add a little bit of bumping maybe later. So let's go to use 1 there and 10 there for the refraction, and I like to add another piece inside, and I'm talking about a structure there. And to do something like that, we can do something like a box. It is obviously more little. It stay up, something like that, and we have 2 centimeters, and we have it there. Maybe we can put some metals to pick the wood, and I like to, let's say, convert to editable poly, and we pick all the edges, and all the edges has a chamfer of 0.25 with 2 segments or 3 segments. Okay, nice. So let's go there and let's give the same material, and then from the top view we can go there and we can make something made of metal. And to do something like that, we can have, let's say, a compound object, an extended primitive, a chamfer box, and let's say something like that. Okay, this one must be moved, and we can have it higher, so it will be something like that to pick the entire material. And we say that this one, let's go for a material ID, so material ID number 2, and we use the same material. Okay, so let's make a clone using the shift key as an instance, and let's move it. We go to zoom it, and then let's select both, and we make a clone as instance, zoom sorry, just on one, and we move it. Nice. Let's save, made the test. Okay, maybe we can have less bumping, but we have to check it. So that's nice. And now I'd like to put something over the wall, and let's start preparing something. And we can do, maybe we can create, let's pick a sphere. Okay, let's rotate by 90 degrees. Okay, so we have to do something to make it more usable. So let's go in a perspective and zoom, isolate. And let's say that we have 64, generate mapping coordinates, then convert to editable poly. Let's pick all the with the selection in your back facing, select all the faces there and remove, so we have no capping. Then I like to pick less vertices there. Let's use a soft selection. It will be lower, and let's say that will be something like that. Okay, so you see it's more simple. It's not a problem to have the stuff there. Maybe we can just move it inside. Okay, so we are sure that it's working, and then we can use a shell. Nice, and let's go for a little bit less. and then edit poly, and we can select, let's go to see the edges faces. We have, for example, this one. If we use, if we use the loop, and then we select, for example, this one and this one, and we select the loop, we can go there and use the chamfer. We can use just maybe 0.15 with more subdivision. Okay, and we have our mesh. So back to the physical camera and edges faces, and let's put this one over the table, and we can have this one on this side. There it is in the middle. Okay, and this one can have a black color, let's say sphere base. It is a V-Ray material. It is black, just maybe one there. It has pressure reflection with maximum reflectivity. And let's go in the in the viewport just to check the rendering. So let's say that we render this part. Okay, you see that it's really reflective. So then we say that it has a really high glossiness. Let's render in the test. Okay, it is going to be better. I like to have just a little bit of anisotropy, and I like to have a bump. And we can have a bitmap. Let's see if we have something that can be useful in this case. Maybe we can use something like that. I know that it is not the right one, but it can be nice to see how it looks over it. Let's see just if we have something more interesting. Or maybe we can use this one. Okay, nice. Let's see the map, and let's start with the tiling. 10 and 10. So really little. And let's remove the bump, the blurring to really low value. And let's say -50 and render. We should see something over the surface. Okay, I like maybe to add just a little bit more glossiness. Okay, and save. In a really fast way, let's try to add more stuff to the table. So let's pick this part, let's go in isolation, so we have the stuff needed to create more interesting things. So something that we can add is something abstract for a modern home. So we go to have, let's say that we have a line, okay, and this one as a late at minimum, let's say 36, well, core, perspective, and zoom to the object. Okay, and then this one as a shell modifier. Okay, and then we have an edit poly. Let's go for the edges faces. Okay, and select this one and this one, loop, and then chamfer to 0, 15 with 3 edges. Okay, nice. Perfect. Let's make a copy. This one, the line is different. So let's say that we have this line lower, this one stays there, and this one is there. Then that's with the lathe and the shell and the edges faces, the edit poly. Okay, close. And we can have the pivot at the center, and this one, the pivot at the center. Okay, this one can be rotated by 180 degree, and this one can stay a little bit moved, but we'll use 2 chromic metal, and we can assign to the same, and the material will be a V-Ray material. Let's go in the perspective with a physical camera, and we have a black color, freshening reflection, let's say 8, a really high reflectivity and a little bit of glossiness, and we have a little bit of anisotropy. Okay, let's go in the camera and render there. We need less glossiness, let's say 0.92. Okay, maybe we can go also higher, so 0.98. I like to have really nice reflectivity over. Okay, it is reflecting in the right way. So let's pick both. We have to move it on the ground there. We can maybe scale over both axes and move it in the middle there, or maybe stay there, and we can rotate, but let's check without. So we can rotate from this point of view and save. Let's add some candle, and to add the candle we can first of all let's create something to maintain the candle inside, and we can do something like that. Let's zoom. We can move those vertices, and we can start refining. So we go to have there, there, and we can have something there and something there. Okay, let's remove the refine. We go to have this vertices there and this one near there. Then we move this one outside. Then this one stays there and we move it. This one can be a little bit inside. Same thing there, this one is outside, and this one is inside. Then we select all these vertices and also this one, and we say to use the fillet, and we start to have a little bit of fillet. Okay, nice. Then we go for a lathe with the minimum, let's say 36. Let's go in a perspective, and let's work just on this one. Okay, so let's say that this one has let's say that we have an edit poly, or maybe before we have a shell modifier, and we go for 0 there and just a little bit inside. Or maybe let's try to have just a little bit outside. Okay, then edit poly, and let's say that the face in the middle, as ID set to 2, then the part on the top, so let's see there, we say that there on the top, but with the window selection as 3, the same there, 3. Okay, let's say there we have 3, then select, invert, we have 1, and then select in the middle with the crossing, and we have 2. Okay, let's create there a material, candle glass, and this one is a 3 material with a multi-sub object, so let's say 3. So the first one is a gold, and we use a V-Ray material. We'll go for a black color. We have freshener reflection, let's say maybe 2.4, and the reflection is with this color similar to a gold, but we go for something darker. Okay, just that's just the beginning. So then we have, and there we can say that this one is the gold. Okay, then the second one is the glass, so we can use glass, and we say that we have a black freshening reflection with 1.4 with a really reflectivity, high reflectivity, just a little bit of reflection glossiness, affect shadows. Let's go for an eye refraction, and let's say that we have 1.0, and we have a little bit of fog multiplier, let's say 0.25. Nice. And then the third one is a V-Ray material, and that's just a metal, so we have a really high reflectivity with the higher air set to 18, and a little bit of anisotropy and reflection. So back to the camera, and without the let's render, and let's see how it looks. I don't like to match the material there, the yellow color. Okay, there is a problem because I used the wrong color. Let's render again. It should work in a better way. Okay, and we can have something different, something like that, and it can be a little bit less with the glossiness, so we have more blurring. And let's say that we have maybe 4. Let's see again. Okay, something like that. So over the other, but I like to have again brighter reflectivity. Okay, inside this one we can have a candle, so let's make the people in the center, and inside this one we can have, let's use an extended primitives, and we use for a chamfer cylinder, and we say something like that. Okay, let's move it, and we put this one in the middle. Okay, so let's make a clone of this camera just to be nearest, and let's make a clone. Sorry, edit clone. Let's go for the camera 2, and we can move it. Let's select the camera target. Okay, so we can check there, and then let's select this one. Let's get in the right point of view, move it over the table. Okay, so we have the right model, but let's see with the edges faces. Let's go for chamfer. Sorry, to have more cap segments. Then let's try also to have more sides, 32. Then let's go for an edit poly. We pick these vertices with a soft selection, a lower soft selection. Okay, we go to move it a little bit. Okay, and then we put something inside, so we can use again chamfer cylinder, something really little. Okay, and this one can stay in the middle of the candle. We can put it there, and it should be more little, a little bit higher, with less fillet, more segments over the 8, less over the sides. We don't need cap segments. And then we can put a band, okay, just to have a little bit of curve. So let's say there we have the black candle, and this one is a simply V-Ray material with a black color, nothing so important. Maybe just a little bit of reflectivity, nothing so much, with a really glossiness. Then we have the candle, and to make the candle we can go there, let's say candle, and we can go for a V-Ray Fast SS2, and let's use, or maybe to make it more simple and fast, we can use just a V-Ray material, and we go to have something clear like this one, and then let's go to have a little bit of reflectivity with the freshener reflection. As always, we have a little bit of glossiness refraction, a glossiness over the reflection, and then we go to have the refraction. Let's say that we have a little bit, nothing so much, and we need the glossiness also there, so we go for something higher. Let's go for 0.4 for example, and then we pick the color using the fog color. So we go for something like a yellow color. We say maybe 0.4, and let's try to see how it looks, and then we tweak the various parameters. So let's render there. Okay, we have a little bit of wax look. Let's use also the translucency. Let's go for the artworks. Let's say that the scattering is more similar to a yellow color, and we say that the scatter coefficient is higher. Let's go for something real similar to 0.7. We can have a little bit less coefficient for forward background, and let's see the result. Okay, and let's go for a higher level for the multiplier. Let's try with 5. Okay, it is nice. Okay, so we have this candle, so we can pick also the other object there, and this one is a group. Let's call it candle 1, and we can zoom, and we can have, for example, a candle on the side and another candle with a different proportion also there. So let's make a copy. We open this group, and let's say that there this candle is different, so let's go for a perspective, pick this one, zoom. Let's see if we can do it, and it will be higher. Okay, and let's pick this one and rotate it just to have something different, and this one can be a little bit different, and the okay, close. So back to the camera number 2, and maybe to do something interesting we can have, let's open again, and let's have this one a little bit with a different radius. Okay, and group, close, and save. So let's go in the viewport, render there, and let's pick this area and make a test render. I like to add a little bit more reflectivity to the glass we are using there, so let's go for the glass. Okay, and let's say that the reflection there are maybe 165. Let's see again the render. Okay, we can also change a little bit the fog multiplier. Let's go for 0.5 because I like to have a different look for the glass. Okay. Okay, nice. So another thing, I like to go to check the metal there has too much glossiness. Let's see an example there. Okay, so this part is nice. I like to have more bumping there, so let's go for, maybe we can do something else. So let's pick this one and let's have a V-ray displacement. Let's remove this one and put as a map for to making the displacement 2 centimeters, and back in the render we can render this part, but we have to set again the bumping, the displacement inside the render. Displace and render. Okay, it is obviously too much. We need to have minus 0.5. Okay, it is a little bit better, but I like to have a lower amount. So let's go for something really little. Let's try in this way. So you see the result is nicer than before. We can go just a little bit lower to 0.1 and it should be okay. So we have this part of the table, and we can just maybe add something more to have a little bit more stuff ready, and then we can continue on the next part. Let's check with the perspective. We have to put stuff also there. So let's say we with the table in this way actually, and let's remove the shapes there, and I like to fix another problem there. Let's go the middle, group open, and we have the glass there. Okay, let's check the glass. Let's set renderable, and let's pick the shader, and let's say that there we have 1.0 for the aero, and we can have a little bit more reflectivity, 1.6, and let's see a test render. So physical camera 1, let's try to render just this area. So let's try it there, and that's okay too. So let's make just a test for the entire image, but let's go for displacement, and to be faster let's do a more little render. We'll use the anti-alias. We go for something better for the rendering, and let's go for 64 and 4. It is not the final settings, but it can give us a nice quality. And let's try to render. So it will take just a little bit. That's the first result. You see, it's really not bad, and we can let's make a clone for this one. So let's pick the group, let's close, and let's make a clone. Let's go in isolation, and I like to make something a little bit different. So let's open the group, and let's pick those boxes. I will change it manually. Let's remove the group from the selection. Okay, let's use an edit poly over both. And let's say that those vertices will be scaled over the y-axis, and these vertices will be scaled over the other axis. This image will be changed, so we pick this one, let's make a copy, and we call it art number 2. We can assign, and let's choose another texture. Let's call it, let's see if we have something there, the ground. Let's say, for example, this one. Okay, let's rotate by 90 degrees. Group close, and we have to rotate it. So rotate by 90 degrees. Let's hide, and then we can move this one, for example, there, and let's remove these boxes there. Let's scale this one, and it can go there and maybe there. So this one a little bit higher, and this one too. Okay, let's go back to the camera. Let's see without the displacement. So you see, it's not bad, the general quality. Then in the next part we'll add more furniture there and on the side, and we'll start to finalize some more things. So maybe with not so much part we can finalize the entire image. Let's see also from the other camera, just to see when we are near how it looks. Maybe we can just move a little bit to have a more interesting image. So let's see, for example, this point of view. That's without the displacement. Now we see a test also with the displacement. Generally it seems nice. Okay, let's set to on the displacement and render. Okay, you see that generally the quality is really nice actually, so we can continue in this way to obtain the final image. So for the moment that's all, and I hope to see you back on Max Cookie to check for new tutorial coming from cgcookie.com. Bye! Hi, my name is Alessandro Angelosi, and that's a video tutorial coming from cgcookie.com for Max Cookie. Today we'll continue to work at the Photoreal interior with V-Ray, and this time we'll continue to add more props and furniture all around. So let's start creating a lamp, and we can create a lamp, and this lamp can be put, for example, there on this part of the room. So let's use just this one as measure. Then we go in the 4 view and zoom outside, and we'll try to model it really fast. So let's use the spline, let's go for a line, and we'll try to do something simple, and later we can fix to create a better result. So let's go for a line, and let's start with something like that. And then obviously we have to scale a little bit the various stuff I'm creating. Let's move there, and we can move these vertices, right mouse button, and it's a corner, and we move this one there. Okay, then we need to continue the shape, so we can remove the start new shape, let's use the angle snap, sorry, the 3-point snap to the vertex, and then okay, something like that. So let's see this shape, and we can assign directly a lathe set with minimum, so we see how much we have to change. We see the final result, and we start to move the various stuff. Let's remove the angle snap. So this one stay there. That's the base, and we go for something like that. Let's go to zoom. But these vertices can be more little. Then let's move this one. And let's go on the top. This one must be moved over this axis. Then both can stay to something bigger, because we don't see inside the lamp. But maybe we can scale a little bit the vertices. Okay. Then let's select all these vertices and also this one and this one. Okay, so then we can select the, let's try with the chamfer. Okay, we remove the edges faces, and it seems working fine. So let's close, and there we like to have, let's say, 32 weld core to be sure that we are welding the core, and generate mapping coordinates. Then again, let's say that we have something really simple. We can use, let's go for a cylinder, or maybe we can go directly with a tube from the top. We can make something like that, and we do it really little and big in this way. So we say that the radius is right. We have, let's say, 36 segments, maybe more. Let's go for 40, and let's move it on the top, and we can make it more little. Okay, and let's put a little bit down. Perfect. And the base can be also a little bit more little there, so we can move those vertices to something like that. And then we select this part, and we can use an edit poly. And we go to select those edges there and the edges there. Then we can use a perspective, zoom to just this object, and we need to create a little chamfer. Okay, it should be really a little, so let's go for 0.15, so just a little bit. Okay, done. Back in the camera. Okay, and this part will be metallic, but before I like to have also a spline, but we can model it later. So let's say that this one is a chromic material, and we can create a new material and we call it chrome lamp. It's a V-ray material, black color, freshen reflection, maximum reflectivity, and we go for 18 for the IRR, just a little bit of reflection glossiness, okay, and a little bit of anisotropy, nothing so much. Perfect. Then I like to give a material for this one too. Let's go there, and let's say a big lamp, and we go to have a multi-sub object with just two material. One is white and one is black, so let's assign, and we can use this one is the white material, but there I like to have a dark color, so let's go for a V-ray material, and we go for something similar to a black color with a little bit of reflectivity, with a really heavy, let's say 7 glossiness, and we go to have a little bit of anisotropy. We have to check there the glossiness, maybe we need less. Let's go for 0.6, and the white is something similar, so let's create a copy, but there we have a clear color, and it is more with less glossiness, and it is a little bit less reflective, okay, and less anisotropy. So let's unhide all the various stuff, and these objects, with this one I like to move it, so we can zoom and put this lamp there. So let's go in the right camera, let's go in the camera number 1, and we go to render, but let's say at 900. Let's go for this render with no anti-alias and a low level for the max rate, and we can stay with this value there, and let's go for lower value for the mean samples and the global subdivision, and render. We can remove the displacement just to make the test. So global switches are removed to placement. Okay, cancel, and I like to render just this area and render. Okay. Okay, it's nice. I like just to change a little bit the shape. So let's pick this one. Let's go at full screen, and we can use a table. And let's use the right amount. Okay, nice. So save. The first thing is done is the lamp, but I like to add the power cord because we have nothing. We can remember that there we put something, so we can make a cable coming from there and going down. So let's start preparing a line, and let's say that we have the line there, so it starts there. I try to put something like that. Let's go there, and we put the curve a little bit over. Then in the perspective, let's zoom to the curve there. Okay, and interpolation, we say adaptive, and then we start moving some vertices. And I like to have this one on the top. Let's say that we have the cable there, and then it goes down there. Okay, we can make two things. One is to use the rendering there, and we say enable on render, enable in viewport, and you see that we have a cable just in a really fast way, and you see it's 1 centimeters. We can say that it's 0.75, and we have 12 can be enough. And then we go there and we create a really simple shader, let's say power chords, and we go for a black plastic, nothing so complex. So black color, a little bit of reflectivity, freshener reflection, and we go for 0.9 for the reflectivity, and that's all. So back to the camera there, and you see that we have the cable. If we go for the other camera, we have the cable there, so everything is right. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's go in a perspective to check the camera, and we have to work there on this part because we you see we have nothing. So let's select just the room and go in isolation, zoom to all viewport, and we are talking about this part. So let's zoom, and we need to create something. We can create, let's go for a box. We try to do something really simple. Okay, we have this box there, we put inside okay, and we can decide to have a different material, maybe there on the ground. So let's go to zoom there, and the box also in this case, and we say that this box stays there. Obviously we don't see outside from our point of view, but it is nice to have the right thing in the right part of the scene. So zoom there and zoom again, and this one will be just a little bit higher, nothing so much. Okay, convert to editable poly, and this edge. Okay, this one can have a chamfer, but it is little with 2 segments. Okay, nice. This one can have a black color, black ground window, I'll sign, and this one will be material V-ray, black color, and we go for freshener reflection with a little bit of reflectivity and an eye glossy, so 0.7. Okay, then let's go back to this one and let's make a clone, but this one will be more little. Let's say maybe something like that. Okay, and it will be bigger on this side. So there we can move to put inside and make a boolean. And from this point of view, I like to have more metal there and less metal on the top. So then we can select the bigger one, and let's say compound boolean pick operand. Okay, we have a problem. Let's say back pro boolean pick operand. I think maybe that I'm using a wrong position. Let's see. Oh yes, right. Okay, nice. So let's pick there, and boolean pick operand, and this one. Okay, perfect. So this one will be a metal stuff, but I like to see how much it's big. It is really big, so let's go to have something more little, and we go to have it there. At full screen, convert to editable poly, and we pick these edges, chamfer, and we go for something more little. Okay, nice. And let's say that this one is a window metal, we go for a V-ray material, and we pick a dark gray, and let's go for 8, a nice reflectivity, and let's try to have a really high reflection glossiness and something like that for the anisotropy, and then we can check it later. Then I like to have a glass. The glass will be a box, because I like to have not a plane for the glasses. We have to put it inside the metal part. So we put in the middle, and it is 1 centimeters and half. And we call it glass big window, and a sign, and then V-ray material, black color because we have no diffusion, freshener reflection with the reflectivity set to 1.5, maximum reflectivity, just a little bit of reflection glossiness. And then we go for the refract, let's say 210, use affect shadow, and then we go for just a little bit of coloring for the fog multiplier, and let's go for 0.2, but we are obviously to test it. And let's close. And then I like to have some more metal parts over the window, just to have some spaces, something related to the window. So we can do something over an axis and then over the other axis. So let's go for extended primitives, some front box. Let's go on this point of view. Let's say something like that. Okay, and then we can fix it. So let's move the first one there, and we say that the fillet is 0.2, the 8 is maybe 2 centimeters and half, and at full screen maybe it's a little bit too high there. Let's say 2 centimeters and half, or this axis 2, and there let's say 2 centimeters. So we can give the same material, so we can go for let's reselect from there. Okay, so with the shift key we can make some copies. Let's say with the instance 3 copies. Okay, nice. Then we go for something like that, but we rotate this one by 90 degrees as a copy. Then we move it in the middle, and let's say that this one will be bigger. So let's say that it is more little. We go from the ground inside the wall. Let's say that there we have 4 centimeters, and maybe it is also there bigger. Let's see from this point of view. Okay, I like to make it a little bit bigger. Let's say 6 centimeters, because I like to see it outside the window. So maybe 3 centimeters there and 7 centimeters from this point of view. Okay, nice. And then we can make a copy. So I like to have 2 big area and 1 big area there inside in the middle. Perfect. So let's go back to the camera number 2 and hide everything, and we try to make a preview of this point of view just to understand if we see everything in the right way. Let's make something more little, and in the window there for the render, remove the region and render. Okay, now we start to have some shadows. We have to tune the shadows to find the best compromise there. Let's see what happens if we have a camera that maybe before with this one, and then we put another camera to see how it looks. So you see that we have more light coming from there and less light coming from the other on the other side. So let's scale there the point of view, and then back to the camera number 2, and then we say select camera, and let's make a clone. This one is the camera number 3, and let's select camera number 3 and select the target. So the target we will see there, and then select camera, and we go for something like that. Okay, so we can check from this point of view what we can see inside the room. So we have a big light. Let's see when we have no glasses. So this one in general will be not renderable. Let's render. Okay, and you see that we have maximum light coming inside. If we have it again renderable, we can say inside the material there, if we say that this one has the maximum and no fog, you see that we have still the light coming inside. So one really simple way is to have the refraction set to 210 as we done before. We can have a little bit of fog multiplier, and we can have the reflection because we need it. And let's see what happens if we go to set this one to cast shadows, and we go again to render. And we see that we have the same thing, and that's due to the occlusion of the lighting coming from outside. So in reality, the simplest way is to use the right mouse button, V-Ray properties, and you can set off to visible to GI. So we'll have no occlusion due to the glass presence. So let's go in and you see that it is working again. Perfect. So we'll have the right illumination coming from this point of view there. So let's close there, and we have space to put another lamp, for example, there. So we can copy the one we just created. So let's pick the various part and let's make a clone. I'm not making a perfect clone with an instance because we have to change something maybe. So let's move it there, and we need for sure to change. So let's rotate a little bit, and then we can change a little bit the cable. So for the moment I'm just putting all the vertices there. Okay, nice. So we can then create another heart. So clone as a copy, and we can move it there. Let's give it a perspective just to see the entire wall. Okay, and we can put maybe something a little bit bigger just over this axis, going a little bit down. Okay, so there, group open. Okay, and there we can create another material. Let's call it art3, and a sign, and there again a V-Ray material with a bitmap, and we go to search in the 3ds Max map background. And let's see if we have something interesting that can be used. Maybe this one. So we have to close. Okay, and we can scale it maybe over this axis just a little bit. Okay, perfect. This should be maybe just a little bit near. Okay, camera number 3, and we can remake another test render just to see that we have also this one there. Nice, we have the cable and everything seems working fine. So save. Okay, let's model some more stuff inside the room, and let's go there. Let's use a perspective, let's rotate, and I like to put a little furniture there and there, yeah, made similar in the same way. So let's go zoom there, and I like to have a zoom to this part of the room, and let's go to create a chamfer box. Okay, we make it by 45 and 45. Maybe later we can do it more little bigger, I mean. Let's say 3 centimeters and 0.25. So it can be bigger, let's say 60 and 60. So you see it's really a little part, and we do it not so big, so let's say that the entire furniture is high as the table there. Let's go to zoom from this point of view. So we have this one, and then we have something similar there, bigger, okay, as an instance. Then we have another one near the ground, but this one will have more space. Nice. So then let's make a clone. You see we are modeling something really simple. So let's say as a copy, and this one is more little, let's say there. Okay, something like that. And then we have a piece more little to stay there. Okay. And then we can go for this one, and we make a clone using the shift key. Sorry, using the shift key. Okay, as a copy, it is more little, and let's make really little so we have space to put stuff inside there. And then we need to move it, so we move one on the side there, and one on the other side. Okay, and that's an instance. Then we select this one, rotate using the shift key by 90 degrees as a copy, and we move it there. We make it more little, but this one is a little bit bigger than the other one. Okay, and then we can align over the x-axis. Then we make a clone as an instance, and this one is aligned over the x-axis there. Perfect. Then we can put 4 spheres to make something to move this one. So we can create a sphere, and we can put one there, and let's move to stay on the ground. Okay, we have to move this one and also this one, I think. So let's zoom just for a moment. Okay, this one stays on the ground. Let's zoom. Now this one stays on the ground. So this one can be bigger. Okay, let's move over this axis and let's assign a black. We can use this plastic there, that's not a problem because we see just the part as an instance, and then copy both there as an instance. Okay. So that's the new part. As you see, it's really simple. Select all pieces. And this one, nice. And let's make a new material. And let's say brown furniture. And there we need a V-Ray material. That's a brown color, a dark brown. Let's see if we can use, let's say, a composite with 2 layers. Let's copy this color with the right mouse button, and there we put an RGB tint. Let's paste the color, and then we can use black for both. There we can use a bitmap, and we can go to use an arc material. So let's go to the wood metal material there. We can maybe just use, you see, something like that, so a bump map, because this one can be used as, let's say, an addition, and we use a really lower value, you see, to something like that. Nice. I like to see this map to understand if the mapping is right. That seems not bad. Okay, and let's go in a camera. Let's go for the camera number 2. We need to move a little bit, so we can pick this one and move it. Okay, so again we can make a render and cancel, and let's select just this area and render. Okay, the color seems not bad. I like to change a little bit some stuff, and we can use this map. Let's say that this one is really reflective, but with a freshener reflection, and we can put this one as paste, and then you see that's the map. We can use a color correction, keep all map, and we can go for lower, so we can have a little bit less reflection on some part, and render again. Okay, you see that we have some part more reflective and some part less reflective. Let's use the same map there as the glossiness as a copy, and let's go to check the glossiness there. It's really high, so we can go a little bit higher with less contrast. So you see we have just a little bit of contrast over the maps. Let's make preview. I think we can go a little bit lower. Still a little bit lower. Okay, and back there, and we can have a bump map. So copy and paste inside the bump. Sorry, we go for 10, and we have to change the blur to 0.3, and again a test render. So it is a nice result. Let's select all the furniture there, so we can select in this way, but I don't like to select this one. So let's see if the selection is right. Okay, let's make a group and let's call it little furniture brown, and we make a clone as an instance. Let's go in the camera tree, and we have this one, let's say there. So let's make a render for this one too. So that's the result, and that's really nice. Let's go back there and save. Let's create another little stuff. We create another lamp to be put there. So let's select this one. We can go in a hide selection, and we can start modeling this one. This one too will be really simple. Let's use again. We can use directly a primitive, or maybe we can model it. So let's say that we use a line, and we go to have something like, let's say we don't need the show line. Let's create something like that. Let's redo those spline because something stopped the creation, so let's create something like that. Okay, then we have something going up, then again outside, and then we have a line. Okay, let's use a late again. Let's go there, late minimum. Okay, let's move this one on the table. Let's go for the perspective also to have a nice point of view there. So I like to change a little bit the shape, the lines there. I like to move just a little bit there, and then more the other lines. Okay, then we need this one there and all these vertices, and we can use the chamfer and let's try with 0.15. Okay, and we have our lamp. Okay, there we can use another metal, let's say black glossy lamp. Assign V-Ray material, that's a dark color, really black, freshen reflection, and it is really reflective, but we have 0.6 for the reflectivity, and we have -4 for the anisotropy, and then we use a part on the top We can use something like, let's say, a curve like this one. Let's say late, minimum. We can adjust these vertices. Okay, do something like that. Then we have the late. Let's use 40 for the segment, and then let's go for a shell modifier with 0.3. Sorry, 0.3. Okay, nice. Then I like to have something to put the lamp on the top, to stay on the top, so we can use some cylinder, really little. We have to make it bigger, then we can make it more little. Let's rotate by 90 degrees. It can be longer, and we can go for something like that. Okay, and we can have let's say that this one has the effect pivot to the center, this one has the effect pivot to the center. Then we can select this one, effect pivot, and we can align to this one, to the pivot. Okay, nice, close. And then from the top view we can make, sorry, there is a problem with the pivot. Okay, nice. Let's rotate again, 3 copies. And we have a problem because I created the stuff from a wrong point of view, so we have to move it from there to there. So we have to align over the X and the Y, and now the Z. Okay, and this one can be more little, so let's change. This one can stay there, and this one can go to be something like that. Okay. I think we have a problem with the other objects, the other cylinder, so let's check for okay, that's a problem. So let's go at full screen there. Okay, I made an align, so that's normal. Okay, this one. There is a problem to select the various stuff. Okay, done. The cylinder can have the same metal, and then we have to create the material for the upper stuff. Let's say upper little lamp. Okay, let's use a V-Ray material, and let's go in the camera number 2, anite stuff, and I like to make a material something, let's say maybe something like that, with the freshener reflection, maximum reflectivity, a little bit of glossiness. Okay, then I like to have a little bit of transparency, and let's save and let's make render. Okay, close, and make region selection there. Okay, let's say that it is a little bit more refractive. I think we can go also higher. But then we say affect shadows, and it is with the glossiness, so let's say 0.6. The fog color is something similar to an ivory color, and let's say 0.3. Okay, let's change also the starting color, just something like that, and again let's check. A little bit more yellow, but more clear, and there a little bit more coloring. Okay, and I like that to see if we have a little bit of translucency. Okay, we can stay without, we can go just for something like that. Maybe just a little bit more clear. Okay, nice. So now I like to put the cable also there. So let's scale a little bit, and let's go to have another curve. Let's say starting from there. Okay, so let's move this one with a perspective on the top there. Let's say that this one is enable in viewport, and we use the same plastic we used before. Okay, let's rotate a little bit. Okay, and this one stays on the ground, and I like to change the vertices there, and this one can go there, there, and down. Okay, so we have the cable going down. Nice. So back to the physical camera 2, and this one can be again a little bit more inside. So we have enough stuff there. We have just to model another thing there, something there, and this part, but we are near to finalize the project. So save, and we are ready to make a test render. We can use the other camera, camera number 3, and select the target, move, and let's say that we try to see something like that, and we are near, and let's move. Let's see also to change. Okay, perfect. Save. Let's check just the preview, and then we are ready for the final render. Okay, so that's the actual point of view. We have to finalize this part. We'll put another another furniture there. Then we have to put on the other side, and we'll have a sofa on the side, and maybe a lamp on this part of the room. So we can make maybe some tests also to have the version done by night. Sorry, scale a little bit. Okay, nice and save. So for the moment that's all, and I hope to see you back on Max Cookie to check for new tutorial coming from cgcookie.com. Bye.